Hey guys, today we're going to use our skills of multiplying fractions in how to convert measurements, like from quarts to ounces and so on and so forth. And we, at the upper level, call it dimensional analysis. So what you should see is what your two-page layout should look like. We've got a little foldable over on the right. I gave it to you in class. And you're going to write in it, and once you're done, then you're going to glue it in like you see mine. We already glued in the conversions chart at the bottom, and we're going to take some notes on the left side. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do those notes on the next page. So again, we've got lesson 4-5, converting measurements, dimensional analysis. Today's date is 10/7/19. Okay. So, I know your teachers in elementary school told you, what do you have, and there's 3 feet in a yard, and sometimes you'd multiply by the 3, sometimes you'd divide by the 3, but you didn't have any really rhyme or reason why you did that. Okay, they may have said, if you want to go to a bigger label, you're going to have to multiply, or divide, and if you want to go to a smaller label, you're going to multiply, whatever. I'm going to show you a foolproof way to do it, and it's what I've been talking about with word problems. Watch your labels. So the basic premise that we have with this process is have. So what you're given, okay? So this is your given, okay? And there could be one label, or there could be more than one label. Oops, I'm going to erase this. I don't need to. Okay? So this is what you're given, the given piece of information. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take what we have and we're going to look at what we want. So want is over here on the right side. And what we want is the label that the problem is asking for. So this is going to be the final label. And this all makes sense once we start doing examples. Now, in order to get from what we have to what we want, we're going to have to use conversion factors. But what we're going to do is we're going to turn those conversion factors into fractions. So we're going to multiply what we have by what we need. And what we need is the conversion factors. Now, we can use, sometimes it'll be just one conversion factor that will get me to the label I need, or I want, excuse me. And sometimes it'll be multiple conversion factors. So we're going to do a little bit of each. So again, without exception, bum, 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 you must, so I'm going to yell at you, must use fractions. So you cannot just go back to your old methods that you learned in elementary school. You're going to be actually tested on using this strategy, okay? I know that seems harsh, but that's just the way it's going to go. So I'm going to give you an example of what I mean by a conversion factor and then how it would be used in these problems. So let's say we know that 1 week is equal to 7 days, okay? So that's a basic conversion factor we all know. Now, I'm going to write it as and I'm going to put it over here underneath. This is going to be written as the fraction, okay? So if I take that, I can either write it, if I want to keep the label week or weeks and get rid of the label days, I would write my conversion factor as this type of fraction. However, if I want my answer to be in days, I'd put the conversion factor this way, 7 days, 1 week. Okay? So like I said, we're going to go through this step by step, and we're going to go bit by bit through it. Okay? So let's go back to the first screen, or actually I'll bring it up. Hold on. Okay. So this is that foldable we had over there. So what I want to talk about is what is our have and what is it that we need, okay, or what is it that we want. Now, what we need is not going to be in our original problem. We're going to have to figure out from our conversion chart or from what we've learned in the past what's going to go where. So what we're going to do is read through each of these, and then we're going to identify who is the have and what is the want. So what we have always has a number attached to it. It says what we have are 22 gallons, okay? What we want is to convert the answer to quarts. So again, have, want. And then we're going to need some sort of conversion between gallons to quarts in order to solve the problem. Let's look at the second one. It says, how many fluid ounces does a 2-liter bottle of soda hold? Well, I look for the number, and it goes with, well, I don't need bottle, sorry. I just need 2 liters, and then that's going to be what I have. And notice the question was, how many fluid ounces? So fluid ounces is what I want. Okay. Including the end zone, what is the length of a football field in inches? Hint, a football field is 20 yards long. So we had to kind of decipher through this one. What we have is a football field, which is 20 yards long. But it asks for what is the length of the football field in inches. So inches is what we want. So we're going to have to do a conversion between yards and inches. Okay. Now, a lot of times it's best just go step by step to get to our answer, and instead of trying to figure out, well, how many inches are in a yard? Okay. All right, let's look in the next one. Now, this one's kind of interesting. It says a model airplane flies 22 feet in 2 seconds. So right here, we've got what we want, or what we have, excuse me, and what we have has 2 labels. Okay. What is the airplane speed in miles per hour? So what we want is the answer to be in miles per hour. So what's interesting is I'm going to have to convert feet to miles as well as seconds to hours. All right, and then we have another one with the double labels here. Convert 110 milliliters per hour. No, excuse me, 110 miles per hour, and that's what we have. So always whatever has the number is going to be what we have. And then they're going to tell us what label that we want. Feet per second. So we're going to have to change the miles to feet and the hours to seconds. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to flip to the next page, and we're going to start with our first example. So I opened up my first flap that we cut in class. And again, I'm going to remind myself of what I have. I have 22 gallons. And what I want is going to be quarts. So looking at my conversion chart, I do have something that I need. So what I need, I'm going to go a tad darker on that one, sorry. I need to use this conversion, that 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. Okay, so this is how I start my problem. I start with what I have, 22 gallons. And we've talked about if I want to take a whole number and turn it into a fraction, I just give it a denominator of 1. And now what I'm going to do is multiply by the conversion factor what I need in order to get my answer to be what I want, which is going to be quarts. So that says in my conversion factor, the quarts have to go on top, and the gallon, oops, sorry, didn't change my colors, let me go back. My quarts are going to go on the top, and my gallons are going to go on the bottom. And the reason why I do this, just like with labels, or with numbers, I can also cancel out numerator to denominator labels. So now gallons are gone, and I'm left with quarts. Now this math says, I'm going to multiply 22 by 44. How did I know that? Because they're straight across from each other. So off to the side or underneath, I'm going to do my math. And I get 22 times 4. And I get 88. So what I want is an answer of 88 quarts. All right, so that's how this process works. All right, let's do the next one. So here we are, we've closed up the first flap, opened the second flap, and we're going to go through and figure out what we have and what we want. So how many fluid ounces does a 2-liter bottle, so right there, that's what we have, is 2 liters of soda hold. But the weird thing was, what we want was in the beginning, fluid ounces. So now what I have to figure out is what is the conversion between ounces and liters. So I'm going to tell you, I've got a conversion. Now, this is not one you would have to do on a test, but I've got information for you. So let's talk about what we need. And again, this is going to be an example of how I can't go directly from liters to fluid ounces. But what I can do is say that 1 liter is equal to 4.23 cups, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm converting from one system, metric, liters, to the customary system, cups. That's the one we follow. Now, that doesn't give me to ounces, so I do have something that deals with cups, and that's 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces, or I like to jokingly call it flosses, okay? So now it's going to take me 2 rounds of multiplication to get to the answer I want to have. Okay, so let's start with what we have. We have 2 liters. We're going to make that a fraction by giving it a denominator of 1. Then we're going to multiply it by the first conversion. So what I want to do is get rid of the liters. So I'm going to put the liters from what I need on the bottom. So 1 liter, and it partners with 4.23 cups. Okay, well that created a new problem because I'm not in fluid ounces is what I want to have for my final answer. So I'm going to have to go ahead and do the second conversion, and the label I want needs to go on top, 8 fluid ounces, 8 flosses, and underneath would go the 1 cup. Now look what happens. Liters cancels with liters, cups cancels with cups, and the only label left is the label I wanted, which is the fluid ounces. Flaws. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I think what I'm going to do is multiply 2 times 8, which is 16, and I'm going to multiply, and then I have to multiply that by that 4.23. So I'm going to ignore the decimal for a moment. Get 18, 12 and 1 is 13, 24 and 1 is 25, put in a placeholder, I get a 3, I get a 2, I get a 4, and then I'm going to add up. So I get 8, 6, 7, 6. But I did have 2 digits after the decimal point, so I'm going to go ahead and move the decimal point over 2 places, and I'm going to get, I think I'm going to have to move over my answer of flosses. Let me do that, because my answer is a little bigger than anticipated. Fluid ounces. And I'm going to get what I want, 67.68 flosses. Okay, fluid ounces. Now, our problems that we're going to deal with this chapter are not going to be this challenging. But again, it's the idea of sometimes we may need to use 2 conversion factors. Okay, let's go to the next one. So here's example 3. So again, let's mark up what we have and what we want. It says, in the end zone, what is the length of a football field in inches? Hint, a football field is 120 yards long. So that's what we have. Whatever, or, have. Whatever has the number is what we start with. That's our have. And then what we want, though, was inches. Okay, so I'm going to start way over on the left side with what we have, 120 yards. I'm going to give it a denominator of 1 so that it's a fraction. I'm going to think of what do I need. Let me think about this. So yards to inches. Well, on my chart here, I've got yards to feet, so I'll start with that. 1 yard equals 3 feet. And then I know that 1 foot, it's not even on here because the assumption is you already know this, 1 foot is 12 inches. Okay? So we're going to multiply by what we need, and again, it's going to take 2. So the first thing I want to get rid of is the yards. So that's going to put the yards on the bottom, because yards are on the top, and that's how I'm going to get them to cancel, and the 3 feet on the top. Then I'm going to take the second conversion, and let's see, I want inches to be the final answer, so inches need to go on top, so that's the 12 inches, and then we've got 1 foot. Okay, so again, yards cancels with yards, numerator and denominator is how we do our canceling, feet and feet. So I'm left with what I want, which is going to be inches. So let's see, I have 120 times 3. Man, I'm going to do the math over on the right side here. So I have 120 times 3. That's 12 times 3 is 36, and there's a 0. So I get 360, and then I'm going to have to multiply that by 12. So I get a 0, 12, 6 and 1 is 7. Put in a placeholder, 0, 6, 3. I get 0, 2, 13, 4. No decimal points. So my answer is going to be 4,320 inches. Pretty cool, huh? All right, next example. This is going to be a tricky one, okay? So hold on. All right, so I have an airplane model flies 22 feet in 2 seconds. What is the airplane speed in miles per hour? So what do I have? I have 22 feet in 2 seconds. So here's what's weird, is we have 2 labels. So I didn't have to do a denominator of 1 because it came with a denominator of 2 seconds. What I want is to put the answer in miles per hour. Whew. So let's see, what do I need? I'm going to have to figure out how to get feet into miles. So I need this conversion. 1 mile equals 5,280 feet. And what else do I need? So that takes care of miles and feet. And then seconds need to go to hours. Okay, well, I know that 1 minute has 60 seconds. Now I get to get minutes to hours. Oh, do you hear Tiana sneeze? That was crazy. And then I get 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. Okay, so when I do all of this math, it's going to equal miles on top and hours on the bottom. So let's get in not 1, not 2, but 3 conversion factors. I think that's right. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Okay. So first off, I need to get rid of the feet. So I'm going to put the feet on the bottom. So 5,280 feet on the bottom, 1 mile on top. Mile on top, check. Next, I'm going to take seconds, put them on top because they're on the bottom, and I'm going to put minutes on the bottom. Okay, that still doesn't get me to hours, so I got to do one more conversion. I'm going to put the 60 minutes on top and the 1 hour on the bottom. Now, we're going to do a practice problem that kind of has crazy numbers like this, but the whole thing is getting used to the idea. The numbers you're going to have to deal with, there go my feet, there go, oops, nope, not going to cross off my miles. I want my miles. It's the seconds I need to get rid of, and then the minutes I need to get rid of. So I'm left with what I want, miles over hour. So you're not going to see these kind of crazy numbers. I'm going to promise you that right now, okay? So let's see if there's anything fun we can do. So through the magic, I'm going to pause this and do the math. So after all of my cross-canceling, this is what I'm left with. I'm left with 11 times 60 divided by 88. Now that's going to give me 660 divided by 88. And when I simplify that down, it goes to 15 halves, which is 7.5. So what I end up with is 7.5 or 7.5 miles per hour. Whoa! Okay, so that's what let me change the color on that one. That's what I wanted, is miles per hour. All right, one more. Hold on. All right, so what do I have in this problem? Convert 110 miles per hour, that's what I have, to feet per second. That's what I want. So it's like the last problem, but now we're going the other direction. That's what I want. So let's see, what do I need? Well, we need to know that 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. We need to know that 1 hour equals 60 minutes, and 1 minute equals 60 seconds. Okay, so now here comes the big setup. Let's start with what we have. We have 110 miles per 1 hour. All right, so let's tackle getting rid of the miles first. Now notice again, we have 3 conversions on this one, okay? So let's see, to get rid of the miles, we want miles to go on the bottom, get rid of miles from the top, and the 5,280 feet on top. Okay, next I want to get rid of the hour, and so I'm going to put 1 hour on top and 60 minutes on the bottom. But I don't want minutes, I want seconds, so I'm going to put 1 minute on top and 60 seconds on the bottom. So I should have what I want, which is going to be an answer of feet per second. Okay, now label-wise, look what happens. Miles cancels with miles, hours cancels with hours, minutes cancels with minutes. I'm left with feet, and I'm left with seconds. Okay, so I have some stuff that I can do on this one. I know that 60 goes into, because I just did it, 5,280, 88 times. Let's see, there is a 0, 10 here I can cancel out with. Let's see, 6 and 88 are even, so I can divide out of a 2. And so off to the side, what I'm left with is 11 times 44 over 3. Well, 11 times 44 is going to give me 484. I'm going to divide by 3. And so this is going to give me what I want. 3 goes into 4 once with 1 left over. 3 goes into 18 exactly 6 times. 3 goes into 4 once with 1 left over. So 110 miles per hour is 161 1/3 feet per second. All right, we'll be talking about this in class and working together. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.